Okay, I'm back, y'all, and divinely grateful risings. How are y'all doing today? I hope you're having a fantastic day. My bad, y'all. I gotta switch highlighters real quick. Because I have a couple of pens that I really can't use for nothing but highlighting my Bible. And so since we had a new, I should have did it for Ezra, but don't judge me. Welcome to Bible Clarity, y'all. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're feeling good, y'all. Like the live, share the love. Drop something in the chat that you're grateful for. Let's get in the flow of abundance. We are in a new book. We just started the book of Ezra today. We are in Ezra 3 and 4. Y'all know we are here. If you're new to the community, welcome. We're so happy and so grateful that you are here. We're on a mission to read the word, discuss the word, and build relationship with the Lord, reading the Bible 2 chapters at a time. And we on Ezra uh 3 and 4. So the Lord, Cyrus just allowed the exiles to return back to Jerusalem. So that they can rebuild the temple. Message. So they are on we just got through going through all of that. This is a new book of the Bible for me. I have never read Ezra, so I'm excited. So let's see what else is happening. The altar is rebuilt. Remember, when Nebuchadnezzar went through, they burned the temple down. They completely demolished it, took everything and everything. That's so funny. This says in early autumn, and my baby literally just just said something on my phone. Okay, here we go, y'all. In early autumn, when the Israelites had settled in their towns, all the people assembled in Jerusalem with a unified purpose. Then Jeshua, son of Jehozadak, joined his fellow priests and Zerubbabel, son of Shealtiel, with y'all. I don't be knowing how I want to put this wheel. Oh, come on, hold it. Jesus, take the wheel. Literally, the Bible is in the steering wheel. Don't be judging me. Why I ain't never thought of that before? Y'all seen that? I'm gonna show y'all. Look what I did, y'all. Look at the. Can y'all see Jesus literally took the wheel? Anyway, don't be judging me. Y'all know if you knew. Welcome. Okay, I'm back. I just thought it was funny because he took the wheel. Okay, I'm back. Okay, I'm back. My bad, y'all. Okay, it was Shealtiel with his family in rebuilding the altar of God of Israel, or the altar of the God of Israel. They wanted to sacrifice burnt offerings on it as instructed in the law of Moses, the man of God. Even though the people were afraid of the local residents, they built the altar at its old site. Then they began to sacrifice burnt offerings on the altar to the Lord each morning and evening. They celebrated the Festival of Shelters as prescribed in the law, sacrificing the number of burnt offerings specified for each day of the festival. They also offered the regular burnt offerings and the offerings required for the new moon celebrations and the annual festivals as prescribed by the Lord. Pause. We started the book of Ezra on the new moon in Libra. The people also gave voluntary offerings to the Lord. 15 days before the Festival of Shelters began, the priests had begun to sacrifice burnt offerings to the Lord. This was even before they had started to lay the foundation of the Lord's temple. The people began to rebuild the temple. These are short chapters. Then the people hired masons and carpenters and bought cedar logs from the people of Tyre and Sidon, paying them with food, wine, and olive oil. The logs were brought down from the Lebanon mountains and floated along the coast of the Mediterranean Sea to Joppa, for King Cyrus had given permission for this. The construction of the temple of God began in mid-spring during the second year after they arrived in Jerusalem. The workforce was made up of everyone who had returned from exile, including Zerubbabel, son of Shea, Shealtiel, Jeshua, son of Jehozadak, and his fellow priests and all the Levites. The Levites, who were 20 years old or older, were put in charge of rebuilding the Lord's temple. The workers at the temple of God were supervised by Jeshua with his sons and relatives, and Kadmiel and his sons, all descendants of Hodaviah. They were helped in this task by the Levites of the family of Henadad. When the builders completed the foundation of the Lord's temple, the priests put on their robes and took their places to blow their trumpets. And the Levites, descendants of Asaph, clashed their cymbals to praise the Lord, just as King David had prescribed. With praise and thanks, they sang this song to the Lord. He is so good. His faithful love for Israel endures forever. Then all the people gave a great shout, praising the Lord, because the foundation of the Lord's temple had been laid. But many of the older priests, Levites, and other leaders who had seen the first temple wept aloud when they saw the new temple's foundation. The others, however, were shouting for joy. The joyful shouting and weeping mingled together in a loud noise that could be heard far in the distance. Enemies opposed the rebuilding. Surprise, surprise. Charlie got a box on spiritual warfare. Not me was just talking about spiritual warfare today. Y'all, this Bible be so good. How people don't want to read this? Okay, I'm back. I don't even know what to read first. Let me read the box. How long how long will opposition to God's work continue? The Jews returned to Jerusalem in 538 BC, and Darius began to reign in 521 BC. Their enemies persisted in attempting to halt the rebuilding for almost 2 decades. God's adversaries don't quit after 1 or 2 defeats. This is true of both human opposition of Satan, the enemy of our souls. We must therefore strengthen ourselves for a long campaign against the forces of darkness. Dashed expectations of quick success, oh my God, will breed frustration and despair. Expecting extended conflict will lead to careful preparation and patient determination. No, I cannot! And patient determination. All the while, we must never forget that no matter how long the battle, victory belongs to the Lord. I got so much to say right now. So first of all, can we talk about, I was just talking about spiritual warfare on this morning's message. What did I call it? He knows. I'm recording this. I'm recording this on the 1st of October, but so the message is called He Knows. So if you haven't seen that, go watch it. I talked about spiritual warfare. I talked about how being patient for what it is in the message. Come on. This vision is for a future time. Okay. We just had the Habakkuk 2 and 3 card yesterday. This was for yesterday, or which day was this for? No, I released it. I don't even remember, but it's still out here because I had to take a picture of it. It was for the end of Second Chronicles 35 and 36. Okay, so that's the next thing. The next thing is message. Our iPop word of the week is determined. And when Cherie chose that word, I said, do you want determined or determination? And she wanted determined. And so this week, our iPop word of the week is determined. These folks finna be determined. You got to be determined because you're going to come up against this opposition. You're going to come up against people, places, and things trying to come up against you when you're doing God's work, but you got to be determined to get it done. Anyway, child, I just started sweating. I done got excited about this word. Okay, I'm back. Here we go. Enemies, this is just too much. Enemies oppose the rebuilding. The enemies of Judah and Benjamin heard that the exiles were rebuilding a temple to the Lord, the God of Israel. So they approached Zerubbabel and the other leaders and said, let us build with you, for we worship your God just as you do. We have sacrificed to him ever since King Esarhaddon of Assyria brought us here. But Zerubbabel, Jeshua, and the other leaders of Israel replied, you may have no part in this work. We alone will build the temple for the Lord, the God of Israel, just as King Cyrus of Persia commanded us. So this is the enemies of Judah and Benjamin. Okay. Then the local residents tried to discourage and frighten the people of Judah to keep them from their work. They bribed agents to work against them and to frustrate their plan and to frustrate their plans. This went on during the entire reign of King Cyrus of Persia and lasted until King Darius of Persia took the throne. Later opposition under Xerxes and Artaxerxes. Years later, when Xerxes began his reign, the enemies of Judah wrote a letter of accusation against the people of Judah and Jerusalem. Even later, during the reign of King Artaxerxes of Persia, the enemies of Judah, led by Bishlam, Mithridath, and Tabeel, sent a letter to Artaxerxes in the Aramaic language, and it was translated for the king. Rehum, the governor, and Shimshai, the court secretary, wrote the letter telling King Artaxerxes about the situation in Jerusalem. They greeted the king for all their colleagues, the judges and local leaders, the people of Tarpel, the Persians, the Babylonians, and the people of Erech and Susa, that is Elam. They also sent greetings from the rest of the people whom the great and noble Ashurbanipal had deported and relocated in Samaria and throughout the neighboring lands of the province west of the Euphrates River. This is a copy of their letter. Here we go. To King Artaxerxes, from your loyal subjects in the province west of the Euphrates River. The king should know that the Jews who came here to Jerusalem from Babylon are rebuilding this rebellious and evil city. They have already laid the foundation and will soon finish its walls. And the king should know that if this city is rebuilt and its walls are completed, it will be much to your disadvantage, for the Jews will then refuse to pay their tribute, customs, and tolls to you. Since we are your loyal subjects and do not want to see the king dishonored in this way, we have sent the king this information. We suggest that a search be made in your ancestors' records where you will discover what a rebellious city this has been in the past. In fact, it was destroyed because of its long and troublesome history of revolt against the kings and countries who controlled it. We declare to the king that if this city is rebuilt and its walls are completed, the province west of the Euphrates River will be lost to you. Then King Artaxerxes sent this reply. To Rehum, the governor, Shimshai, the court secretary, and their colleagues living in Samaria and throughout the province west of the Euphrates River. Greetings. The letter you sent has been translated and read to me. I ordered a search of the records and have found that Jerusalem has indeed been a hotbed of insurrection against many kings. In fact, rebellion and revolt are normal there. Powerful kings have ruled over Jerusalem and the entire province west of the Euphrates River, receiving tribute, customs, and tolls. Therefore, issue orders to have these men stop their work. That city must not be rebuilt except at my express command. Be diligent and don't neglect this matter, for we must not permit the situation to harm the king's interests. When this letter from King Artaxerxes was read to Rehum, Shimshai, and their colleagues, they hurried to Jerusalem. Then, with a show of strength, they forced the Jews to stop building. So, the work on the temple of God in Jerusalem had stopped, and it remained at a standstill until the second year of the reign of King Darius of Persia. The end. Y'all, this is so good. What is the oh my gosh, y'all, this is good. What is the message? John 14:6. Jesus said to him, I am the way and the truth and the life. No one comes to the Father but through the Son. I tell you what, when Jesus know who he gonna call, if he's calling you, I just told somebody this. If he calling you, he finna give somebody some truth and clarity. Okay, some truth and clarity. We just saw something very false in here, right? They were doing a good work, and here come these haters. We can't look the haters. This the thing. You realize they even showing you the haters in the Bible. These folks were some haters because them folks wasn't doing nothing bad by rebuilding this temple. But you see how the enemy will use anybody. And so just like in real life, y'all, spiritual warfare, the enemy was determined not to give God his glory, not to put God back in place. That's why you got to be determined to keep on building. Keep whatever the Lord has given you to do, whatever the the vision is, Habakkuk 2, 2, and 3, you got to be determined that you're going to build it no matter what kind of opposition you're going to come up against, no matter, it's going to be people that are going to speak against what you're doing. I just talked about this today with no idea that we were going to be reading about this in Ezra, right? Because I've never read the book of Ezra. I just talked about it. It's like people going to come up against you. They're not going to believe what you're doing. They're not going to believe that God sent you to do this great work. And even if they do believe, they're going to oppose you and try to keep you from doing it. But you got to be determined and keep building anyway. Drop that in the chat. I'm going to keep building anyway. Okay. That's it. Lord, I hope this helps somebody. Y'all, hydrate your soul and things. Drink your water. Say your gratitude. I love y'all in real life, and I will